Well, folks, it looks like the SEC won't let us be. No, the SEC won't let us be. Now, breaking news. Elon Musk will now be under investigation by none other than Joe Biden's administration. Yeah, I said it. Now, yeah, sure, it's the SEC that's going to be investigating Elon and Twitter and his acquisition of Twitter. Imagine buying something that was worth $20 for $40 just to save it and to free it. Like, let's say there was a pigeon that, was being held in captivity, right? It was being abused, tortured, etc. And you bought the pigeon for $20 or for $40, even though it's worth $20 just to save it and set it free. Well, that's what happened with Twitter, which is now X. And on the way out, literally five days away from Trump's inauguration, old Joe Carcass Biden, I actually genuinely feel bad. I saw this just video once. It's hard to watch, folks. It is difficult to watch because this man is no longer there. And I have already been mostly convinced that he's been making none of these decisions, but now I am fully convinced that he's making none of these decisions. And in this one, you can really see it on him. The man is fully demented. He's gone. He's no longer there. And this is elderly abuse. That's all this is. Shame on his wife, shame on his aides, shame on the entire administration, shame on the entire democratic plantation who has been hiding this from the world, even though the world was able to see right through it. So let's get into this story. This is just a quick clip of Grandpa Joe. Again, it's hard to watch, folks. It's hard to watch. It's one of those, like, if you have a grandparent or somebody that, you've seen lose their mind, their memory, etc. And it's like reminds you of one of those type of scenes. So let's go through this.
I think that Elon Musk's cooperation and/or technical relationships with other countries is worthy of being looked at. Whether or not he is doing anything inappropriate, I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that it's worth being looked at. But that's all I'll say. There's a lot of ways. All right.
He's literally saying nothing. The man is being held at gat point. Yeah, folks, this is the lawfare system. This is the Democratic Party. What else can we expect from these people? The very same ones who look to incarcerate their political opponents because they know they can't beat them fair and square. Do not forget what happened these last 8 years, and more specifically the last 4, as they have been trying to nail that man DJT, aka Donald Django Trump, because he's a free man. The D is silent. They have used the entire so-called justice or injustice system against this man, and it's not for the sake of this man alone. Trump always used to say, they're not really after me, they're actually after you. And he meant the American people, the people who support the American way, the people who stand for the American way, the people who are the American way. Right? Those who genuinely stand for freedom, who are against this neo-Marxist agenda that's being pushed upon us. And now I realize exactly what he was saying. Oh, they don't want us speaking to one another. Oh, they don't want any freedom at all. I mean, why X? Why is X the one why is George Soros not being investigated, even though he has, a multitude and a host of tentacles in a multitude of media companies and such? The man is in the deal to buy, I believe, 200 radio stations and newspapers. Why has that man never been investigated by the Democratic Party? Maybe it's because he is their biggest funder. Might that be it? Maybe it's because old Joe Carcass Biden actually gave him a quote-unquote Medal of Freedom. How ironic. Maybe that's why. Maybe because he's on their team. When I hear stories like this, because I don't necessarily view myself as, like politically based, but I guess the things that I speak on touch on politics because I speak on social things. I speak on things that affect us at an individual level as human beings. And then, obviously politics is always going to become one of those things. It's always going to be there as a part of that social conversation. But this is bigger than politics. There might be politicians involved, but it is much bigger than politics. This is about freedom. This is about your ability to be expressed as a human being. Again, X was first Twitter, which was, I believe, the most censored platform at a certain point, which is saying a lot because we had Meta and the rest of these lunatics. But X has now become the literal voice of the people. And places like Brazil have outlawed X, etc., which is how you know when you have these socialist communistic countries banning your platform completely, you know what that platform is. You know what that platform is intended to do. It's intended to platform anybody and everybody, essentially, right? So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to be following this story for sure. But, I literally just came across this moments ago and I thought to myself, well, I mean, again, so much for a peaceful transition, of course. They've really been looking to do just about anything to make the job harder. And the thing that always blows my mind is how selfish and narcissistic these people are, because it's like their people suffer too. But then I realized they don't have a people. They just have people they use. Like the Democratic politicians just use the Democrats to vote for them. They don't care about them. They don't care about anybody. They pander to them to get their votes. So they're not America first or second or third. They're themselves first, second, and third. And so the people who they purport to be for, these people who even fall into this whacked out, woke, far leftist, neo-Marxist ideology, those same people, they don't really give a damn about. They don't care. They would sooner see them burn. I mean, we just saw in SoCal, a place that is, the hub of wokeness. Blue as blue can be, maybe besides the Bay Area where I was for 2 decades of my life. They're both manufacturers of wokeness. And you saw those people suffer the most devastating fire and their own leaders wouldn't even step up. Their own super blues, their most loyal fan base, their genuine piggy banks. They're still like, oops. Yeah, we know we were warned. Yeah, we know we could have done more. Yeah, here's the thing. We don't care. We have our own agenda. We have our own priorities on this side. Wake up, folks. If you're somebody on like the middle of the fence or you are on the left, wake the hell up. I used to think it was about politics, and I realized it has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with what this country was at least founded upon. The purpose and the intention of it. Will it ever be perfect? No, absolutely not. But it's always strived to be that set itself apart from the tyranny, right? That amended itself from its old ways, from the genuine oligarchs and the monarchs. And we've just found ourselves in a different version of it. And they pin things on a guy like Elon Musk because he has created a significant amount of wealth. But in truth, he's really one of us, which sounds crazy. I'm not talking about his pocketbook or whatever. I'm talking about the fact that he is sick to his stomach of the corruption. This is a man who he said this himself. I lost my son. They unalived my son is what he said. That's when I believe he truly had a dog or a horse in this race, a dog in this fight. They took Elon Musk's son, and there's nothing in this life that Elon loves more than even rockets and Mars, is his children. He has a whole lot of them. Always traveling around with a little X on his damn shoulders. They took this man's son against his will, and they castrated him for the sake of the woke agenda. That's what happened. And so that man who they thought they had in their back pocket, just like the rest of these, weak, spineless, the likes of the Mark Zuckerberg to the Mark Cubans, right? They thought they had him in their back pocket, not understanding that no. This guy isn't the guy to be bought. You can't buy him. You couldn't buy him when he had nothing. You can't buy him now when he has everything. When a person is on a mission and they have conviction in that mission, there's nothing you can do or say that is going to stop them. I know this in my heart of hearts. You know, my girl once asked me, even like, man, what is it that would make a dude like Trump who could just retire? So he could have been retired, left, be with his grandkids, his wife, his beautiful family, sitting on billions, chilling in Mar-a-Lago. Life would be sweet. No threats, no nothing. What would lead a man like that to get popped on stage, almost have his life taken from him in his latter years, in his last chapter? What would have that man stand up and continue to fight for anything, let alone for something that is actually actively trying to destroy him? And I said to her, when that mission is on your heart, nothing will stop you. Nothing can. You're basically possessed by it. When God has pulled you into your mission, there's nothing in you. You know, it's like that story of what's his name, Jonah, trying to avoid Nineveh. You can try all you want, running from it. I try to run from my purpose. I try to run from telling the truth exactly as it is. Fear of being canceled, the fear of being, having my black card revoked and being seen as a sellout and Uncle Tom and all these sorts of things. But I couldn't run from my fate. I couldn't run from what I am and what I'm here to do. And so here I am doing what I'm here to do. And, for the rest, like, they can't stop this. They can't stop it. The light's already been switched on. The truth has already been exposed. Like, we're here now. We're here now. That's why they're scrambling and scraping on some Diddy type stuff. They're scraping and scrambling for any little bit of something that they can cling onto because they know their time is up. Their time is up.
I used to be afraid of the dark, place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like counts of praises, you get to praising. They see your light shine, that's why they so frustrated. Even the sofa in Nova Scotia will win the bagels. I couldn't get them ease on the grease, why they burning up? Money growing trees, feel a breeze, still you showing love. I can dig your energy. Even in the dark side, know you got that inner peace. You can fill a cup again, your limit is infinity. You manifest a life with all the fixings and amenities. This is more or less a house sitting. A sitting on a house like Snoopy. A teacher, no dog, new tricks, that's bliss. Cause there ain't no Charlie Browns in this vicinity. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light.